What's going on, my friends? I'm SeanPierceJohnson, and today we're checking out pedal boards from Accel Audio. So Accel Audio is a company based out of Anaheim, California, not too far up the road from me here in SoCal. And the series that we're going to be taking a look at today is the XTA series, which I think has a really cool design concept behind it. It is a modular pedal board designed for loop switch users. So before we build a board with the XTA series board from Accel Audio, let's take a look at the package that you get when you get the pedal board. Now they sent me a really nice bundle, and then we start out with this really cool soft case. Now of course it's soft, but the sides are actually fairly rigid. It has a nice riveted, rubberized handle, which you know, it's actually quite sturdy, and a nice shoulder strap, so you don't always have to carry it like a briefcase. Kind of cumbersome having to do it like this. Oh well. We have the wah volume pedal platform, Velcro, the FX Power Source 8, the compact Power Source 6, a bag with various different accessories for putting the pedal board together, the FX-8 command center programmable switcher looper, and finally the XTA pedal board itself. Now what's really cool is this is all just a single piece of folded aluminum, and this thing is really rigid. It's not bending at all. It is very, very sturdy. As you can see, there are tons of cool little holes. I can see you through here. Haha. Yeah, there's tons of holes for you to fit your cables and your power supply cables, audio cables, all that stuff through. And at the bottom here, you see we have this nifty little shelf, which will be where the FX-8 switcher will go. And as you can see, you can feed all the cables straight through the back here. Now this shelf right here, this is not the only size that Accel makes for this pedal board. They have two other sizes, so if you have anything like a Boss ES8 or a Gig Rig G2, you can fit it on that shelf, and you can use that with the XTA 21. Their line is always expanding. There are so many different components to this line, from pedal risers and platforms. It's really quite extensive and very cool. So this is the FX Power Source 8, and it is a 8 isolated regulated DC outputs. We got, as it says, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different 9-volt outputs, one of which with a 50 milliamp can go from 9 to 18 volts, 100 milliamp to go from 5 to 9 volts. We have 1, 2, 3, 400 milliamp outputs that can either do 9 volts or 12 volts, and then we have two 350 milliamp 9-volt outputs on 7 and 8, the compact Power Source 6, and this is a very tiny little 6-point power supply, plug in with a DC in right here, which I think it requires 15 volts in order to operate. And then we have 6 9-volt outputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 100 milliamps and 1 at 500 milliamps. So this would probably be a good one for your big supercomputer style digital pedal. And all the power supplies come with all the necessary cabling in order to connect pedals to the power supply. Probably my favorite thing that was included in this little bundle that they sent me was this nice cable pack, and it's all the cables that I would need in order to make a pedal board using the XTA 21 pedal board and the FX-8 loop switcher. And finally, we come to the centerpiece of the XTA pedal board bundle that we are going to be putting together, and that is the FX-8 looper switcher. And there you go. So essentially, we have 8 loops that we can put pedals into. Bank up, bank down, 4 presets per bank, a master, tuner, mute function. You can bypass this entire thing. You can set up to, I believe it was 80 different presets in here. And you can also control different foot switch functions with the FX-8 as well. So now that we've taken a look at the components of this nice little bundle that Accel Audio put together for me, I think it's time that we build a pedal board. The idea that I want to go for with this pedal board is all pedals are going to be into the front end of an amplifier. So let's go ahead and let's build ourselves a pedal board, shall we? All right, board is out, pedals out. Here are the pedals that I'm going to try to put on this pedal board. Now, some of them might just be options, so bear with me, will ya? Of course, we have to be in tune, so the Boss TU2 on the board. I really like the Vertex steel string clean drive, just because it's a nice coloring to a clean sound. on the board it goes. The Vertex T-Drive has also proven to be a new favorite and kind of a tone that I really like, so it's one of the options for heavier dirt tone. As far as the compressor goes, this force field compressor from TC, which I think in and around 60 bucks, is really hard to beat. It's a really nice sounding compressor for the money. It's definitely going on the board. As part of the nice little package that Accel Audio sent me, they sent along their Classic Vibes Univibe pedal, and it's a really cool looking pedal. It's nice and purple and whatnot, and we're gonna put it on the board because I like the sound of it. So there you go, goes on the board. Good analog delay. Every person should have a good analog delay. Well, the Way Huge Aquapus is one of the OG boutique analog delays. It's going on the board too. For heftier delay work, we are going to require the services of the ARP87 from Walrus Audio. Verbs are going to come from the Walrus Audio Fathom because it can do standard and ambient, and I like it. And another favorite of mine from Walrus Audio from last season, the Walrus Audio Monument, which we are going to be using for tremolo. It goes on the board. Now, I really want to put the Keeley Monterey on the board, but it really all depends on what I'm able to do once everything's hooked up and how I'm going to route this thing. So these are all the options of what is actually going to go on the board in addition to the Accel FX-8 Command Center switcher. So we're going to route things, we're going to place things, and we're just going to start building it. Begin time lapse now. So what I want to do is I want to put both these power supplies underneath the board so I can get as much power necessary for all the pedals that are going to go on here. Problem is that this plug that comes with the Power Source 6 is a little too big to fit snugly, but what I've done is I've come up with a little solution. I actually have this small 2-prong extension cord. Now, it looks like a lot, but thanks to the included cable ties that Accel Audio sends with their pedalboard bundles, I should be able to wrap this up really nicely, plug it in, and still be able to use the slightly bulky power supply and be able to get all the power necessary. So I forgot to mention that we're also going to be using the wah platform that Accel sent along with this, my Jimi Hendrix Systems wah, you know, the early, sort of late 90s, early 2000s signature wah pedal that Dunlop made, and as you can see, it fits pretty nicely on there. All right, people, we are ready to go. We have the pedal board all set up, and there it is in all its glory. And of course, for the pedal board shots, I have the ever so necessary footwear because nobody wants to see hairy toes, right? I thought so. First things first, with the FX-8, you have the ability to go from, you have bank 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, back to 0. 9 banks, 10 banks actually, 4 presets with a tuner mute, bank up, bank down, foot switch capabilities to switch things on your amplifier. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to make presets with the pedals on the pedal board. And I will say this, like, first off, the FX-8 is very rugged. It's very heavy duty, but the switches are very silent. There's not a big pop or click. So if you're one of those guys, I remember hearing some guy who plays in church a lot obsess over this fact that he needed a loop switcher that was dead quiet, absolutely silent. And this one would be a great option for those kind of situations. I did cheat a little bit, and I used some of my already custom-made cables that I've soldered together over the years, just because there were a few cables in the included cable pack that didn't quite work out for what I needed them to do, which is okay. That's to be expected. Pre-made cables are nice to have, but they're not always going to work. Oh well, that's fine. So always have some extra cables handy when building a pedal board. And it's really easy to program the FX-8 with some cool presets. So let's get started. First thing you're going to need to do, Press and hold down on the bank down foot switch. That is the furthest foot switch to the left. And then you will see the letter L come up. Now we are on preset A for that. Now the L stands for low. If you press the bank down switch again, you see H stands for high. Low being the lower portion of the loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then high being 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you want to say, let's start with a nice clean tone. So what I like on my clean tones is some compression. Now, loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're labeled right here for you along there. So if you need any sort of quick reference, it's very easy to remember. I like, actually, you know what? Let's start out with the clean tone. Now I'm using my Carvin V3 for this, just on a clean tone, absolutely no effects. So with a clean tone, let's set up a preset. I like compression, so that's in loop 1, putting the force field compressor, and you'll see the loop 1 light up right there. Here's all the loops. They each have an individual light so that you can see which loops are active. And so the compressor is now active. You know, I can't chicken pick, but it's got compression on it. So what do you want to do? All right, so now we have that. Now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of chorus to it. Now I don't have a chorus on this pedal board, but I have the Keeley Monterey, which has a rotary speaker, which at the setting that I have it on now gets pretty darn close to a kind of slow undulating chorus. Now that's in loop 3. So I'm going to go ahead, press foot switch B, and now loop 3 is in there. Now as you can see, both the lights are inactive. Now what I'm doing with the Monterey is I'm essentially going to put it on several different presets that I would want to use either the fuzz in the Monterey on or the chorusing rotary sound on. So let's kick on the rotary. Oh, that's sweet. Too sweet? Maybe? Need a little bit of reverb on there. Go ahead, press bank down foot switch, and we have the high bank. Of course, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are going to click on the Walrus Audio Fathom, which is in loop 8. Now what's interesting to note is that the low and high loops are separated not only with that LH designation, but if you look down at the Accel FX-8, loops 1 through 4 are color-coded with red lights, and loops 5 through 8 have green lights. So that'll be another helpful visual cue. So now that we've added on the reverb, and so you see why I put the Fathom and the ARP 87 and the Monument and the Monterey in the front row of the pedal board. Those have tap tempo, those have the sustain switches, those are the effects that I will be switching on and off at my leisure. So they're easily accessible. There you go. So maybe I want to add just a little bit of some analog echo. Now that is in loop 7, so let's go ahead and click on, no, that's in loop 6, excuse me. So there we go. That's pretty good. I kind of like it. So let's save it. So how do we do that? Well, pretty simple actually. Just go ahead, press and hold down, and there we go. We're back in our bank, and we can go from a bypass signal by just pressing down on the same foot switch that's lit up to our preset clean tone. And there we go. So let's program another one. Go over to preset B, the very same bank, and we press down bank, down, press and hold. We have L. Cool. So with this one, let's go ahead and let's keep loop 3 in there, because we never know if we might want the fuzz on there. Now let's go ahead and put the steel string clean drive on top of that clean tone so that we have just a little bit of a dumbly color to it. Without it, little anemic. Pretty nice. I think it works. And if we want to, of course, we already have loop 3, so if I wanted to just put the Monterey's fuzz face into that. Now I want that reverb back. Nice. Now, of course, say I want to add on the Walrus Audio Monument. Well, it's after the FX-8. So it's basically there for me to add on to taste however I see fit. Yeah. And there it is, right there for me, front row. And I kind of like this as is. But you know what? For the heck of it, let's try out this classic vibe. So it's in loop 2. There we go. Ooh, that's cool. Let's take a minute to take a closer look at the classic vibe, which, you know, Accel has a pretty cool line of inexpensive effects pedals, which I have on good authority that they might be phasing out soon. So if you find something that you like, I would highly recommend that you you know, get on that before they're gone. It's a pretty darn good univibe, and it has 3 different controls. You have depth, you have rate, and you have bias, and you have a 2-way toggle for chorus and vibe. Let's take a listen to some of the tones that you can get out. Here's All Knobs at Noon. Now, obviously, you can make things slower. Or faster. And usually for me, I like sort of medium slow univibe tones. That's really my bread and butter. Now with the depth, turn it all the way down. You can still kind of hear it, but it's not quite apparent. Not bad. Back it down to there. Now the bias, this is a really interesting control and not one that I see on too many Univibe pedals, especially of this size. So let's go ahead and listen to what it does as I sweep the range of the knob. It almost has this ability to bring some clarity to the tone. Now I kind of like it right back there. I'll slow down that a little bit more. And this is kind of the Univibe sound that really gets me going. So now that we're done with that, boom, hold it down, and there we go. Now it's stored. Now let's see. Not bad. Stores it. All right, let's get a dirty, dirty preset going. Let's go to C, hold the bank down. There we go, we got L. Now for this guy, I don't want loop 2 in there. I want that pretty clean. Go to the high loops, and we want loop 5 for that dirty, nasty T drive. All right, give it some ambience. We will put in the Fathom. And the T drive is a pretty expressive pedal, so if I want to clean it up, it'll do that very nicely. So let's, for some giggles, slap on the ARP 87, and then we'll go back to the high-low loops. Get it right, Sean. Low loops. And we'll put loop 3 in so that if we want, we can sort of add on the fuzz face for a little bit of a Gilmore deal. Am I overloading the mic pre? I can't really tell, but I like that sound, so we're storing it. Bank down, hold down, and we're back. And there you go. That's pretty darn easy. And if you want to just go back to your original bypass signal, just click whatever foot switch you're currently on for your preset, and it bypasses the entire looper. So we have no effects. There you go. And if you want to tune, bam, tuner mute button. You're all tuned up. Click it back on. Let's go back to preset A, and let's do a little bit of shaft work with the wah, hey? And there you have it, my friends. That is the Accel Audio XTA 21 and FX-8 Command Center pedalboard bundle. I really dig the idea that Accel has of this modular pedalboard concept. You know, because as players, we're always experimenting with our equipment. We're always experimenting with different setups. We're trying to figure out what it is about our tone that is missing. What I like about this is that it's a really good package to get you started in the game of, especially if you're thinking you want to try out loop switchers. They can be kind of a learning curve, but this one is very easy to grasp, and it's very easy to get started, and it's incredibly easy to hook up. The quality of the pedal board is pretty spot on. I can't think of a better way to do this than have just the single piece of folded aluminum. It's rugged, it is heavy duty. I love that all the stuff you need for the power supply and making this pedal board a really neat pedal board is included in the bundle. It really makes a lot of sense for a company to do something like that. I like it, and I'm definitely going to be using it, and I'm really pleased with how this came out. I'll clean it up a little bit. I'll probably make some different cables and just rearrange things so that they're just a little bit neater than they are right now. But as it stands, I could very easily use this. Very easily and very happily use it. And the classic vibe is definitely a very cool univibe pedal. Not too expensive, so if you want to get that effect on your board, you can very easily do it. And I want to know what you guys thought of this pedal board. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and please join me by clicking the subscribe button today so you don't miss any of the other fun demos that we got coming up this year. I thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and I wish you all great tone and happy stomping. Cheers.